we are unable to do our usual system where the play, the video is delayed and we commentate live at the same time you guys are watching the stream at home. We have been delayed as well by 45 minutes, which is why I can only now read Jane Windsor's tweet, which in her mind she sent 46 minutes ago. Anyway, it was obviously the coin flip or the kind of the concession we had to make. What did we think the audience would prefer? Cards up or interaction?
That's exactly it. We're never going to please all of the people, and I think it's going to be 50-50. I actually would give the slight mathematical advantage to people who would prefer the cards up and not have the audience interaction.
Gill's shove does not get called there, making the move with the ace-9.
Psycho Giller. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we do normally have a technical solution that gives you the best of both worlds, but sometimes that isn't possible. This is one of those times. I think it's the first occasion in 5 years we've had to do it this way. It's not going to become the norm, that's for sure. And yeah, we appreciate you're missing out, but I agree with Joe. I think it's probably 70% would prefer cards up than the ability to actually enter inane contests and say random things.
Plus, V-Jane still gets to hear her name read out loud. She just had to wait 45 minutes. Like most things in Panama, it happens 45 minutes after you ask for it.
Smarin raising to 85,000.
Smarin.
Found the bottom 2%. We'll take it. You got it. I would fold
If I complete,
not like you raise.
I'll impure fold.
Got nobody on Twitch to distract us. We got to talk about the poker.
Make sure the same ain't true on that.
James and I have to have a conversation again instead of just being like an old married couple reading the newspaper to avoid talking about anything.
60 minutes left on this level, 1 hour until the first break of the day. During the breaks today, by the way, your second chance to see Poker in the Ears and Eyes, Panama edition.
Oh, and speaking of race situations, today is the equinox. It's a dead heat between day and night today.
The equinox. I've never heard it said like that. Is that the American pronunciation?
Yeah. You guys say equinox?
Yes.
Let's see. I mean, if you think about it, equinox makes more sense because two things are equal. You just don't say equal.
There's not much consistency in the English language.
No.
I don't know what you're expecting. Rosnijek has opened with ace-7, been called by Abdulatif in the small blind with King-Jack.
And you can see King-Jack has 40% equity right now. Oh, 85% equity after flopping top pair.
Yes, Jack high flop.
Hey, I can't get accused of stealing anyone on Twitch's jokes today either.
$125,000 apiece. 10 on the turn.
Yellow Hannah, if you're going to refer to a hand that you're watching, you should be, I mean, I know what hand you're talking about, but we're going to read this tweet 45 minutes later. So when you're like, how does he check the 6? We're going to be like, what? But I do remember that one.
A lot's happened since then.
Yeah. Some things have happened.
So Vosnijek has turned a gut shot. His ace is still live as well. He's going to fire again, 175,000, and Abdulatif will not be deterred. Still has top pair. He's a 4-1 favorite as we go to the river, which is a king, giving him top 2.
Wozniak thinking about heroing with ace high or making a move here. I don't really see a ton of hands he can rep. If he makes a move, we've seen him just take his time and fold, I think, a few times now.
I think he's going to fire at this. 835,000 in the middle, and he bets 300K. Snap called by Abdulatif, who wants to see the exact hand. Ace 7. Here's 2-pair good. And that has seen things change on the leaderboard substantially by virtue of that pot. Kenny Smarin moves into second place. Abdulatif leapfrogs Wozniak into third. Obviously pretty close there. Roughly 50 big blinds each. Harpreet Gill still brings up the rear with a 17 big blind stack. Here's a little stat about Jonathan Abdulatif, or a little nugget of information. Hashtag fun facts. According to Adam Owen, Jonathan's friend, he was up till 3 a.m. playing shuffleboard in the sports bar last night.
The sports bar was great last night. It's the best. It was dead. It was Sunday night. And I know that I'm going to sound weird when I say this. It was great because there were no girls there. And if you've ever been to Panama, you might know why I'm saying that.
Timofeyev with a pair of threes. Raises from the cutoff. Ace 4 for Abdulatif. Three bet.
Cheeky button 3-bet. Chosen a fairly good time to do it.
How much you play? 2 something.
Sorry about that.
Is this? Yeah. 2 something.
Timofeyev calls the 3-bet out of position. We go heads up to the flop. This is hand 28 of the final table. It's a king, 9-8 flop. So threes are still good, but tough for Timofeyev to think that way. Action goes check, check.
Huh.
Board pairs on the turn.
You can't 3-bet and then not bet after the flop. What's happening here?
Check
Interesting.
on all 3 streets. Your full house is good, Dennis.
Maybe he picked up on some kind of live read, figured that Timofeyev was stronger than he thought. Maybe his plan was to take it down pre-flop, and when that didn't happen, he was like, nah, I'm done.
I have to go all in pre-flop. You're calling pre-flop? Yeah, I call. What was the flip? Screen? Ace king. Oh wait, no, that can't say that.
Our old friend Brent is chiming in on Twitter. Brent's working on the stream boat, but he's watching our stream first. Brent, get me on that boat. I'm in Panama. I will swim. I will swim out to the boat. You don't even have to pull into the harbor. I'll just row myself out there and dive in, Channing Tatum style, from that Coen Brothers movie. Hail Caesar. Man, I'm so hungry. Everything's reminding me of food. Caesar salad. Action folded around to Gill. A stone cold Giller. Gilling me softly. All in. Jack 10 suited. Small blind is folded. Big blind folds.
Like that. Oh, that's good.
Button's good. Play on, players. I want to be a gillionaire. Oh, and speaking of food, this guy, Jules from yesterday, managed to track down a video of the cheesy pasta bowl. I don't know if you watched that, James.
I did see it.
I don't know if I've ever missed food so much in my life that I missed. I would consider traveling to a country to get this cheesy pasta bowl again.
I rarely have any sympathy for Matt Broughton, but I do still feel mildly guilty that we overpromised the cheesy pasta place to him and then were unable to deliver.
So there's this giant wheel of cheese they carve a hole into, and then they make your pasta inside it. And the pasta's hot, so it melts the cheese on the edge, and then it gets all worked in there. Hey, Miami, that's not far from here.
And do they reuse the cheese?
Yeah. Well, these people, they're giving them the cheese. It looks like they're smaller cheese bowls. But in the restaurant we went to, yeah, they reuse the cheese. They make your pasta in it, put it in a bowl, put the next It's clean pasta from the...
Meanwhile, back at the final table, hand number 30, we've got 3 players going to the flop. Abdelatif's under the gun raise, called by both blinds. 9-8-6. Timofeyev has flopped best, top pair. The open-ended straight draw for Wozniacek. 2 overcards and a backdoor flush draw for Abdelatif. And this is a lead from Timofeyev. Remember, Abdelatif was the pre-flop aggressor. Dennis makes it 135,000. So Abdelatif folds. What's Wozniacek going to do with his up and down draw? Answer is call by the looks of things. Board pairs on the turn. Timofeyev now a 4-1 favorite with just 1 card to come.
Six, 7, 8, 9. Not a hand yet. But we do have a river card. A jack does not help Queen 7. 10-9's got this locked up. Should we get to showdown? And it looks like we will. Wait, did Wozniacek check? Can you check if Wozniacek checked?
He checked.
Wozniacek did check after checking.
Yeah, he's checked flop, checked the turn and the river. So it went check, check, check for Wozniacek.
Wozniacek checked.
So Timofeyev shows the best hand, wins another pot, increases his chip lead. He's moved over the 4 million mark now. Now, the reason why he came into this final table as chip leader was because of an amazing hand last night. By the way, if you missed that hand, you can watch it on the PokerStars Live Facebook page. So we asked him about that great call before play started today.
So start off the bat, we've got to talk about the Jack 7 hand. Tell us how you came to make that call at the end of the day.
In fact, I don't want to make a lot of commentary of this hand, so you can think it's just a feeling, just maybe I see something at my opponent on his face, maybe something like that, and I know this guy online, I know he can bluff here. Maybe that's why I call. If it would be another guy, I can never call here. So some facts, and I'm happy what I win, because if he showed me the flash, it would looks very stupid. Then flash, Jack 7 and go away. Then at least two short players still in the game, and that can be very painful for me.
Obviously, making a great call like that, you're still in the tournament, last 6. Does that give you more confidence going into today? And how are you feeling with this lineup and your chip stack?
I'm feeling good. I will try do what I can, play my game, and I hope I can take the trophy.
Do you think he was reluctant to talk about the hand because he didn't want to give away strategy?
Absolutely. And as he said, if he has prior experience, prior knowledge of Kenny Smarin as a player, obviously he doesn't want to reveal that while he's still in competition against that guy. Moonchild gets in touch on Twitter. Let's see if we can communicate with the past. Hi guys, supporting for Jonathan here. After Davide Katai, we can have a new Belgian champion. Also, a lot of people complaining about your Panama Canal joke from 45 minutes ago.
You're welcome. You're watching PokerStars TV.
Wozniak with pocket fours has raised. Round 2, the big blind, sorry, small blind. Jonathan Abdulatif, he folds. Harpreet Gill is in the big blind. He's got 9-3 of hearts. So we're now halfway through this level. Denis Timofeyev still leads with a stack of 4.1 million. Harpreet Gill, the low man at the table, with 740,000. Next player out earns $88,480. Then a big jump. 4th place, close to 120K. 6-figure stacks for the top 4 with nearly 300 grand up top.
Smaller top prize than we're used to, but I got to tell you, in this country, that's going to go a long way. That $300,000 here would kill me just as quickly as like $1.5 million in London.
We've mentioned that Gill is the shortest stack at the final table. Ace-5 in the small blind.
Shoot to Gill.
He shoves small to big, and Kenny Smarin with 6 deuce will fold.
Guilty as charged.
Couldn't beat that, pal. Excuse me. Do you look bigger surface?
Gill now with 20 big blinds.
He's planning on sticking around for a while. He's going to order some drinks.
Well, yesterday we had the red wine. I wonder what they've got planned for their beverages today.
What? Gonna Sochi? Sochi? Yeah. You going?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Even a Russian doesn't want to go to Russia.
Abdulatif with ace-5.
Smarin, small. Smell you later.
Queen 5 for Wozniak. Despite being dominated, he is called out of the big.
Could somebody please bring that person some WD-40?
What is that?
It's like a hobo walking through the casino with a shopping cart with one bad wheel, just trying to collect bottles and cans.
Oh my God, it's like torture.
It's getting closer.
That's not annoying at all, no. It's very zen.
And 35. Blind still 20,000, 40,000 with a 5,000 ante.
I have a feeling this Panama trip is going to be one of those ones that we talk about for years.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the thing? Remember that? Remember the thing, this thing? Remember that sports bar? Remember the lobby?
Oh.
Remember? Remember Panama? Remember the squeaky cart?
Under the gun raised from Abdul Latif.
I remember.
9-7 of hearts. Ace-5 for Harpreet Gill. He folds. Kenny Smarin is out. Vosnajek calls out of the small blind. He's also got hearts. King-6. And Denis Timofeyev has small ace. Ace-3 in the big. He defends, and 3 players are going to the flop. Oh, hello. 6-5-3 with 2 hearts.
Boy, everybody's got something, huh? Check this out. What's the train wreckiest card on the turn? 8 of hearts?
Ace of hearts. Would give Timofeyev 2 pair and would give flushes to the other 2 players.
I'll allow it.
So Abdul Latif continues for 160,000. Can't believe that Vosnajek is going anywhere with the second nut flush draw. Timofeyev may be able to get away from bottom pair. Vosnajek just confirming that they are both strawberries.
On Vosnajek, I might go a little crazy here.
Oh, yeah. Check raise. Well, that will give Timofeyev an easy excuse to exit this hand. Action back on Abdul Latif.
I mean, you do have top pair. And a draw to the second nuts. Or the second nut flush draw, at least. There's some low straight flushes out there. Steel wheel.
Abdul Latif's hand just looks so juicy, though. How can he fold it?
Yeah, I really don't know.
Was that an all-in and a call?
Yeah, it sure was.
Wow,
And
Abdul Latif shoves. Vosnajek calls.
And you kind of get that because if you call and you miss and you got 9 high, what do? Like, you just think you've got so much equity and maybe you can get a fold.
Wow, it went in really quickly there, and we can see from the percentages that Vosnajek is the favorite here, but he is the player at risk. If his hand holds up, Abdul Latif will be left with 170K. If Abdul Latif gets lucky by hitting a 4, 7, 8, or 9.
You'd think King 6 of hearts would be a bigger favorite here.
And Vosnajek will be eliminated. Well, 12 outs with 2 cards to come.
I know, but I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just going to say the shock and it seemed that it didn't.
Well, I was pretty shocked
Guys, he's right there. Stop talking about him.
Turn card is the Jack of clubs. Vosnicek now a 70% favorite. Still 12 outs for Abdulatif. A 4, 7, 8, or 9 would see him eliminate Robin Vosnicek in 5th place. The river card is a 4. He gets there, and that is the end of this German student's Panama main event journey.
Wow.
Just going to verify the stacks.
Oh, wow, what a hit. Yeah, you got it. Nice hit.
Nice
you eating?
river.
Wow.
What are you eating for breakfast? I'm interested.
You better
To run like
Vosna
this.
check yourself before you Vosna wreck yourself.
He qualified online for $700. He cashes out in 5th place for $88,480. Celebrated his 22nd birthday here in Panama. And he leaves with a decent score
I don't know.
and a bad beat story to tell.
I think you're
Not only did that river lock up the pot for Jonathan Abdulatif, but now he's finally got that coveted 6-figure score. Boom.
Yeah, he and the other 4 players all guaranteed $119,480. He's also chipped up to
Yeah,
3.6 million.
not
He's
happy about
second
my
in
play.
chips.
I know I bump into that kind of hand when I shove and he calls, but that's just a part of his range. I don't know, whatever. Thank you for the nice hand. Sorry.
Harpreet Gill has laddered, by the way. Let's point that out as well.
Gilbo Baggins. Sam the Manic Flea says, we need a competition. Sam, sure, give us a suggestion.
So Timofeyev completed in the small. Abdulatif is raised from the big with the 9s, and Timofeyev will call and see a flop.
Let's have some fun.
2 biggest stacks. A 5, 6, 7 flop. Timofeyev with the open-ended straight draw. Abdulatif still ahead. With an overpair and a gut shot. He will continue. 175,000. Timofeyev calls. Turn card is a 4. That's the straight for Timofeyev. Would have been much more fun if it was the 9.
Right?
So Timofeyev leads turn.
Don't see how you fold this. Overpair to the board. Draw to a straight.
275K. Yeah, Abdulatif is called. 1.2 million in the middle. A 10 on the river. Timofeyev with a lock on this.
Guess he's just got to give this adequate time so he doesn't look too excited to bet it straight. I think Abdul Talif can get away from this. The problem is it's a good board to bluff. 550, eh?
Yeah, just under half pot.
Yep, I heard him say call. Does not get away from it, but pretty understandable. It's just, you know, looks like such a great board to bluff.
Well,
And
the net result of that hand is that Timofeyev has put some distance between himself and the remainder of the table. He's moved over the 5 million mark. He's got a 2-1 lead over his nearest opponent. Close to 130 bigs for Timofeyev. Abdul Talif still sits second in chips, though it's pretty much tied between him and Kenneth Smarin.
four-handed in Panama. Next payout, $119,000. Smarin raising 9-8. I didn't even finish my breakfast.
Harpreet Gill is playing a flop. Calls the raise with Queen 7.
It's not like he can wait for somebody else to go broke before him.
Well, Queen High still the best hand. Smarin with a gut shot.
Queen High is the best hand, but I don't think he can stand much heat with it. Bring out your dead.
Oh, God. It's like the windmill from the opening sequence of Once Upon a Time in the West. So with no continuation bet from Kenny Smarin on the flop, Gill
Hey,
leads
all right,
turn,
Gill.
wins the pot. Oh, God, it's coming this way.
Yeah. There it is. This guy's just robbing the place.
Oh, isn't he part of our team?
Those boxes are all full of fake Rolexes. And toilet paper.
Chip leader Denis Timofeyev has Queen 10 of diamonds. He raises under the gun. Round to Gill in the small blind, who's got Timofeyev dominated with ace-10. Oh, I thought we might see the trademark Gill shove, but just a call.
Smarin getting a great price. And the opportunity to... He's got the implied odds playing against Timofeyev. He can bust a player playing against Gill. Decides Jack 5, not quite good enough to go 3 ways. And Timofeyev flops a diamond draw, ace high, the best hand for now.
I'm really interested to see what happens here and whether Gill can be pushed off this.
The Queen 7 hand didn't go the way I thought it would.
Well, the difference there is that Smarin didn't continue flop. I do think that Timofeyev will continue here. Assuming that Gill checks, which he does.
Really hard to do anything but check there.
Wow, Gill is going to call with the best hand.
Good for him. Jeez. I was like, I missed that fold.
9 of hearts doesn't change anything. Gill now a 70% favorite.
It does give Timofeyev a straight draw.
It does indeed. He has picked up the gut shot. I think Timofeyev takes a free card here.
I don't. I think he's picked up even more reasons to semi-bluff.
And it becomes harder for Gill to keep calling. 225,000, a decent chunk of his remaining chips.
Yeah, he's got to let it go.
To
Yep.
fold the best hand. And Timofeyev extends his chip lead at this 4-handed final table. 5.3 million now for the Russian. Gill has once again dropped below the 20 big blind mark, and in 24 minutes time, the blinds are going up. We'll take our first break of the day. When we come back, they'll be playing 25.50. A reminder that during that break, another chance to see part 1 of 3 of Poker in the Ears and Eyes, Panama edition. And even though we say it's the Panama edition, it's really about Rosvedov, because Matt Broughton relives the highs and lows of his
lows
trip
and lows
to the King's Casino and his 79-hour marathon live stream.
The highs and Lee's lowdowns.
Pocket sixes for Abdelatif. He is raised under the gun. Ace queen for Gill. Think we're off to the races?
I do declare.
Семерками пас. Мог запихать семерки.
Glass Triangle of Death presented to Harpreet Gill. Back on the original razor, who wants a count. Gill has shoved for 780k. It's just shy of 20 big blinds.
Yesterday. It's more like 800 basically.
So if you call and you win, you get to knock a player out. Everybody ladders up. You call and you lose, you double up a short stack. Sixes are rarely going to be ahead.
What do you got?
If I tell you what I have, you tell me what you have?
Yeah.
Right now? Can we do that? Is that
No.
a thing?
Not a thing.
I think they should be. Well, I guess you can't really collude at the final table when other people's money's on the line. It'd be nice if you could just say it, though.
Abdulatif lets it go. The shove gets through.
Much was 780.
So we mentioned that Gil is a recreational player, 40 years old, from Vancouver. Recently went deep in back-to-back World Poker Tour events in Montreal, finishing 16th and 12th respectively.
Oh, yeah, real amateur Gil. The guillotine.
I like it. Make it stick.
You like the guillotine?
I do.
Well, you know what they say, 47th time's the charm. Now, James, I don't want to cannibalize our audience, but Rosemary has tweeted us the link to the imminent giraffe birth. I don't know if you've been following this.
I haven't, no.
There's been live streaming coverage of a pregnant giraffe. For weeks now, people have been watching, and apparently it's about to go down. Man, a giraffe breech birth must be real bad.
I'm not sure I need to see that. I'm really not sure I need to see that.
Take forever for that head to come out.
Yesterday I was sent a link to some chicken being poured onto a plate.
I bet it looks just like that, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to see anything that disgusting ever again. So Smarin has raised the button with ace-jack. Timofeyev has 3-bet from the small blind. I thought he was calling there, but no, it's a re-raise to 260,000.
What is this note? You must be having a giraffe? That's terrible.
Matt Broughton's attempts at humour being derided by Joe Stapleton. What is the world coming to? Abdulatif folds the big. Action back on Smarin. He calls, gets to play the flop in position. That flop is 10-8-3, second pair for Timofeyev. He doesn't continue, checks the action to Smarin. 2 overs, couple of back doors.
Yeah, I think we're going to appeal here almost always.
He checks behind.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I mean.
And pairs his jack on the turn.
Catching that jack.
It's a gut shot for Timofeyev.
8, 9, 10. Yes, yes it is. Good work, James. Sterling.
Timofeyev has checked a second time and don't think Smarin's going to check behind again. $280,000 into 580,000.
Yeah, you're not too worried. I mean, Timofeyev did 3-bet before the flop, but he didn't continue, and he's going to be 3-betting pretty wide. He's got all the chips. He's 3-betting a button open. You're pretty confident in your jack. Absolute brick ball on the river.
What I'd love is a repeat of yesterday's hand where Smarin value bets his jack on the river and then Timofeyev shoves on him and tries to push him off.
Well, so far, so possible. So it looks like Smarin is going to go for value. that's pretty close to all in for this fella.
Yeah, and that kind of takes the check raise bluff out of the equation.
It does give him the chance to hero call with an 8, though.
True. 690,000 is the bet. It's more than half pot.
I guess virtual all-in was maybe putting it a little too strongly, but he's committed. I guess one of the options Timofeyev is considering is, did Smarin leave himself enough behind to fold to a shove? Are his only options to call or fold?
Oh, yes, the trolley's back.
Bring out your dead. No one's going broke on this hand. Of course, they don't know that. How long has Timofeyev been in the tank for? Almost 2 minutes. And he makes the correct move, which is to fold. Doesn't lose his mind, but does lose a few chips.
Yeah, it drops down below the 5 million mark. 4.7 million for Timofeyev. Smarin moves into second place with 2.9 million, but still a significant advantage for the Russian. Harpreet Gill hovering around that 20 big blind mark as he has done all day. Blinds up when this level comes to an end in 13 minutes.
If this goes heads up between Timofeyev and Smarin, there is gonna be a battle. We're gonna need some more empanadas in here. Or any at all. One. Still haven't had one.
Well, that's what happens when you refuse to eat breakfast. They're there every morning.
I'm not refusing to eat breakfast. I'm refusing to leave my bed until the last possible moment. And if you saw what's been in my room this week, you'd understand. It's very comfy pillow.
Nice shower that sometimes drains. Queen 9, the hand for Timofeyev, who has raised the button. Abdul Latif with a decision in the small blind. We haven't seen his hand yet. He's going to call. So we're sweating with Dennis. Well, this is going to ruin the tension. Oh, he's got the same hand, Queen 9. Harpreet Gill is in the big blind, and he's got jacks.
Good for you, buddy. Jackson Gill went up the hill.
I wish I didn't find that funny.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty good. Glass triangle of death,
Jesus.
2 folds. It's, you know when you say it and I can hear in your voice how proud you are of yourself.
That's the part you're shaking your head at.
Absolutely.
Just the smugness.
It's just like, you know, the toddler who's managed to produce his first turd in a potty. If you just want to join us, you're watching PokerStars TV.
It's your fault for giving me the one that doesn't flush. You want me to show it to you. James, you've got a child. What's like the most ridiculous thing your child did? Like, did you ever flush anything down the toilet or put the cat in the dishwasher or... Just something like outrageous that like obviously kids don't know any better. Anything like that?
I'm trying to think.
Your kid's pretty English, so probably not. Say something embarrassing in public. Mommy and
Yes.
Daddy wrestle on Sunday mornings.
Oh, she said plenty of embarrassing things in public, but none of them can be repeated
I
on
see.
the air right now. Top pair, top kicker for Abdulatif.
The bet wins the pot.
So we're winding down in level 25. 10 minutes till the break. Poker in the ears and eyes during that 10-minute break.
Still waiting on that game suggestion from Sam the Manic Flea.
By my calculations, you only have to wait another 35 minutes to get a response. So we have an under-the-gun raise and a call. Ace-7 against King-9. 10-5-5 on the flop.
Boring.
$75,000 apiece. Double paired board now.
Check, check.
And a 3 on the river, so the ace plays.
King High would sometimes be good, so looks like Team of
Show me
Fiev's
what you got.
hoping for show me what you got.
Check. Ace.
Oh, we're gonna get swifty.
I thought he said jack high. I know he's a liar, but like, it's king high. He's a liar.
I feel like sometimes
He's a liar, he said jack high.
humor doesn't translate when you call someone a liar.
Oh, okay.
Fight, fight, fight.
Someone get these people drunk. I know.
Did somebody say fight?
At least my rail's drinking. I hope they're drinking as well. Okay, I see some beers. All right. Ah.
More like Jonathan Alcoholic Atif.
Raise the 100.
Abdullah Drinka.
Call.
Oh. E.
Oh, yes, Matt Bratton. Jonathan Aperitif.
So this is an interesting situation which has now thrown everyone into confusion.
Right,
Abdulatif didn't realize that he was in the big blind, tried to raise under the gun. So now everyone knows he's got something, I guess. Marin has raised with ace-jack.
Also got something. Timofiev's got something.
He's folding. He was so eager to raise. What's he got? Ace-queen.
Ace in the quizzle.
I mean, this is so ridiculous. Like,
I know, right?
I don't even care. I probably would never fold here, but this hand is too weird for me. I'm folding.
Great
I don't know what I
instincts.
have on. This is too weird for me.
Well,
I don't even care.
Abdulatif's
Continue the story.
enthusiasm and misunderstanding of where the blinds were in that hand probably cost him some value.
I'll start playing tricks on myself. Get the fuck up out of there real quick. Oops, excuse me.
That's going to be a hand Smaren's going to be real happy to see in an hour.
Absolutely, but if Abdulatif didn't make that mistake, that hand obviously very different. It at least gets the flop, right? The raise,
Right.
the 3-bet. He's going to call on the button.
I mean,
We don't know what happens, you know,
to be honest,
obviously
I did
on
not
the board,
plan
but
that. Aces? I'm not that smart.
Yeah, I thought it is.
Aces. That's great. Oh Lord.
I kind of like that.
Before I look, like 1 million.
Just being like, you know what, this is weird. I'm just gonna get out of it. Like you feel, if you lose a huge pot there, it goes all in and you're dominated. You feel like such a jackass. Like he tried to tell me he had a big hand.
Thought for sure you were calling me.
When?
The big hand we just played. You followed the river.
You were sure I would call?
I thought for sure you were calling me.
It's on you, Gil. Thanks, buddy.
You're gonna find out what I had.
Raise and take it for
I thought for
Abdulatif,
sure you were calling me.
who's second in chips with close to 2.8 million. Dennis Timofeyev still leads with 4.5 million.
Call you. That's why I thought.
And in that case, you may be right. We'll find out if you were right or wrong, huh?
Was it bluff?
You're gonna find out. Yeah. Can't tell you right now.
Makes sense. Now or later?
Okay, so I've got some bad news and I've got some
Yeah, but
good
We
news.
can play a hand in between you finding out.
The bad news is that part one of Poker in the Ears and Eyes has vanished.
What?
Basically, someone's deleted it.
Poker is not in the ears
I
or
mean,
eyes.
not being funny, if I told you this like 5 days ago, you might have been shocked. Now you're just kind of like, yeah, sounds about right. The good news
We
is,
shouldn't have stored it next to that giant magnet.
the good news is we still have parts 2 and 3. So during the break, you're going to get to see part 2, which is the interview with Tito Ortiz. Meanwhile, Harpreet Gill has picked up kings in the small blind. Timofeyev raised under the gun with 10-9.
You know what? And I'm going to give people a little Easter egg. During the section where we're talking about Tito's watch, look out for 2 things. One, a brilliant joke by Matt Broughton that flies under the radar when Tito says how much the watch weighs. 2, when Tito's talking about Matt's watch, he puts his finger on Matt's arm and leaves it there for an inordinate amount of time. Like a really long time. Like long after we're done talking about it.
So this is interesting. Gill didn't shove. 3 bets to 275,000. Do you think this is going to look mightily suspicious?
Oh, yeah, it looks huge.
But he does get a call from Timofeyev.
I mean, it was what?
An extra 195,000. And it's second pair for Timofeyev. Gill's still way ahead with the overpair.
Couldn't do it mentally. I don't care. It's one hand. I don't
I
care.
think if you're Gil, you're really
I would never ever fold there because of that hand. Like
tempted to just get it in right now. There's a lot of things that turns you're not going to like.
Never, dude. I just don't even care. I have like 2.6. Russian's got about 4 million, and the other kid has got as much as me, and he has like not a million. Start.
So not a yes all in?
No all in.
No all in. Just a stack of yellers.
Well, it's a virtual all in.
Yeah.
500,000 leaving yourself 270 behind. I just think when you consider how Gill has been playing at this final table and the way 3 bets small and now bets big, you've got to be mightily suspicious.
This is huge. I don't think Timofeyev ever expects to be ahead here.
Oh my God, he bets enough to put Gill all in.
What's Gil thinking about?
What's he doing? Snap call.
I think he's just processing the situation. Yeah. That's
Okay.
all.
Well, it's not over yet. You've got the best hand.
It's a look. He's an amateur player. He's probably swimming right now.
Well, maybe he doesn't like the fact that
He'd rather have
Timofeyev does have outs.
Jag that gives him odds, more odds. Just saying, just like
We're a 9.
yeah, 9. Huh?
Deuce, deuce. Or deuce, deuce.
There's plenty of cards for Gill to fade on the turn and river to survive.
He still has more outs with a. He has a 9's better for him than a jack.
Jonathan.
For him, not that we're rooting against you, but for him, the best card will be a 10.
5 on the turn is a safe card. 9s, 10s, and jacks still working for Timofeyev. 9 cards that would eliminate Harpreet Gill in 4th place. The river is a queen, king's hold, and the short stack doubles up through the chip leader.
The guillotine.
And that's going to even things out substantially. Gill now playing 53 big blinds. Timofeyev down to 3.3 million, 83 big blinds. That might be the last hand of the level. It might be the last hand before the break.
We got 4 healthy stacks right now.
70, 10 more.
No one's even within sniffing distance of the danger zone.
All right, break. Yes, it is.
So we go on break, having lost 2 players. 3 more eliminations to go before we have a winner here in Panama. When we come back from the first break of the day, the blinds will be up to 25.50 with a 5K ante. So you can see all players reasonably stacked going into the second session of the day, the 3rd level of this final table. So we will be back in 20 minutes. During the break, enjoy Tito Ortiz on Poker in the Ears and Eyes here on PokerStars TV.